I want to talk to you about the power of the collective response and the magic that can happen when human beings come together and try to work alongside one another to come up with solutions. And I'm going to tell you about the methodology that we've developed in order to help ordinary people take actions that make them feel extraordinary and that achieve extraordinary things. And so what we've built is called the Human Hive. But in order to get you there, I'm going to take you on a little journey of how the Human Hive started, where it is now, and our hopes and dreams for its future. So I'm going to start with a question. Have you ever found yourself screwing up your face at the television going, why isn't anybody doing something about that?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah, okay. And this happens quite a lot, and very often it's a huge thing, and we don't instantly have an answer for it, and maybe we decide the best thing to do is to leave it up to the experts, and it bothers us for a little while, and then the feeling passes, and life gets in the way, and we just go back to what we were doing before. And then sometimes that annoying little voice comes back, and it jerks you in the ribs again and says, why isn't somebody doing something about that? And you're like, yeah, why isn't someone doing something about that? And eventually you kind of go, oh, I'm someone. Why aren't I doing something about that? And it's kind of a light bulb moment. And I had one of those back in 2015. And I was watching the news about the refugee crisis, and I had been working as a teacher and doing citizenship projects with the youngsters and packing up aid and sending it to internally displaced families in Iraq. And I was watching the troubles come closer to our door, and eventually they arrived right up on the doorstep in Calais. And I thought I could probably do something to help, to support. I don't know what I want to do, but I know that I am somebody and I have some skills and maybe I can do something. So I looked around to see what I could do, where I could offer my support, and I couldn't find anything specific, but I did find some other people who were doing the same thing as me, looking to see if there was an action that they could take to make a difference. And we got together one evening and we talked things through, and we just kept coming up with all these reasons why it was almost impossible to do anything. I was a school teacher, so my idea was to make these little pop-up boxes of resources in those crates that you get from the supermarket, and then they could be turned over and used as seats, and everyone could get on with the learning stuff while they were queuing for food and what have you. And it was such a naive idea. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it out loud now. And we talked about why it was a stupid idea, because no one was living indoors and the books would all get damp. And no one had any stuff, no one had anywhere to put anything. Nobody would be able to carry a pen. And anyway, where were you going to sit still for long enough to learn? Are you a crazy woman? People didn't have enough food, they were queuing for hours just to get something to eat. People were wearing flip-flops in the rain. So I went home and thought, okay, there has to be a solution. And it's not going to be obvious. I'm going to play around with it. And then I came up with a little idea. And I wasn't sure if it was a crazy idea or not, so I talked it through with somebody else. And we agreed that we were going to put it out there in the world. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we put it up on a crowdfunding site. And we invited other people to join in with our idea. And I went to bed assuming that that would be the end of it. But I would at least have felt that I could give myself a pat on the back because I had tried. And when I woke up in the morning, the idea had gained some traction and other people had got involved. And then all of a sudden, I was on eBay buying a double-decker bus that I was going to turn into a solar-powered school, drive into the centre of the jungle in Calais. And the idea was that it would provide a safe haven for people to be. It would be somewhere that would be warm, and it would be dry. And it would be mobile. If the CRS police came in and asked us to move, we could just drive away gently. And who can get angry with a yellow double-decker bus? So the next stage of this journey was we did something that was seems to be quite unusual actually. Before we spent any money, and before we spent any time, we went to Calais. And we took our part of the solution to the people that it was designed for, and we asked them if they would like it. And exactly how would you like it to be? And what would you like to go in it? And by the way, would you like to help? Can we build this together? So rather than just donating something to people, or coming up with a solution that we thought was super whizzy and just doing it for them, we took a little extra step and we went there and said, would you like to build this together so that we can come up with a solution that works for all of us? And fortunately they said yes. So that was the beginning, and in those conversations what they said was, it's not, the bus is great but it's not about the bus, and the books are great but it's not about the books, and the stuff is amazing but it's not about any of those things, it's about the people. We want to meet people and talk to people. We want to ask questions. We are so different. Everybody in this space has a different story, has a different goal. They're all on a different journey. And we all want somebody to talk to. So we very quickly realized that what we were beginning to do was design a way of working with people. And so we turned it, I'm a school teacher, my partner is a trauma therapist in this endeavour. So we combined our expertise and we started to build a methodology. And in the first year we trained another 60 volunteers, and they came out to Calais and worked with us. And when we came home to the UK, we realised that what we had done was something quite magical by just making a little framework that people could follow and turning it into a little training programme. Anybody could do what we did. Anybody could take a skill that they had inside them already and just offer it out there into the world. Invite somebody to come and share that skill, share that expertise with them, and put it together in like a patchwork of experiences so that it didn't matter whereabouts you were in your journey, there would always be something valuable that you could learn. Because every time you learn something and achieve something, it builds you up as a human being. And every time you start a new conversation with someone you haven't met before, you develop new skills and you gain a richness to your language, and all of these things are beneficial even when life is upside down. So in our second year we trained another 200 volunteers, and they've gone out to Greece and Italy and France and I think as far as Vietnam. And we wrote an online course, and that reached 8,000 people worldwide. And what we realised that we were doing was making it possible for human beings to connect with one another and to share a little bit of time with one another and to create completely unique solutions, because they're built out of the unique personalities and skill sets and experiences and ideas of the people who were there at that particular moment in time and in that particular place. So what we've created is the human hive, and what the human hive needs are more humans. And you don't have to be everything, you just have to be you. And we will go through the methodology with you. It just takes 2 days, and then you become part of this global family that all speaks the same language and all works in the same way. And wherever you go, you can then invite people to spend time with you and try and work on a little part of the solution together. And in doing that, you transfer across the skill that you had to somebody else. You still have it, you still get to keep it, and yours is strengthened, and you've transferred it to somebody else. So they then become empowered to do the next step of their journey by themselves and to fix the next thing that comes up in their life. And eventually, it can go full circle, and they can come in and they can offer what they have to other people in need. So that's what the human hive is now, and we hope that it will become a really strong global movement where anybody who wants to learn something, anybody who wants to offer something, will be able to connect.
Wow.
That's
wow.